excited to be here. This is my favorite vertical, I will say. You guys create memories and experiences, and it was really good to see how the first day everything was about experiential and social, and Kristin, we can talk about that in a bit. So if you want, you can introduce yourself and talk about Hudson Yards. Not everyone might be familiar with it.
Yeah, so good morning, everyone. I'm Kristin Golder, VP of Integrated Marketing at Hudson Yards Experiences. So I oversee the marketing for our ticketed attractions in the Hudson Yards neighborhood. So that's Edge, the observation deck, which is the highest outdoor observation deck in the Western Hemisphere, and Vessel, which is a new structure that was built with the opening of the neighborhood. It's a series of interconnected stairways that you can come in and explore, and every view is different. It's really an iconic experience in the city.
Great, so I know you went through a rebrand. Can you let us know why the rebrand happened, how your strategy changed?
Yeah, absolutely. So Edge opened with the opening of the neighborhood about 5-6 years ago. The opening date of Edge was actually March 10th, 2020. And then a few days later, the entire city shut down with the pandemic. So we opened this attraction, with a bunch of assumptions about who was going to be coming to the city, what tourism was going to look like, and then things changed pretty radically. So it was a lot of learning. We had a huge influx of locals kind of after the pandemic, and we had to kind of pivot. So our strategies changed, and so we wanted to relaunch our visual identity, our tone of voice to better align with this strategy. I'll talk a lot about programming today. So we also wanted a visual identity that was repeatable and scalable in terms of launching new programs, events, and things like that. So very proud to say we launched our new website on Monday. It's been a crazy week. And you can kind of see how we've laid the foundation to really promote a bunch of events, programs, et cetera.
Yeah, so let's shift to the programming side of things. Edge announced that Tao Group is now taking over like food and beverage for you guys, and now partnering with a nightclub. I think last night you guys premiered that. Yeah. Sounds very fun. So how do you approach the programming and content strategy for that?
Yeah, so yes, we had our first nightclub event last night at the Marquee Sky Deck, which is our new late night experience in partnership with the Tao Hospitality Group. We really, when we're thinking about programming, we're focused first on our audiences. Who are we trying to reach, and how can we make a better experience for them? And then we're also focused on how do we not hinder what the natural experience already is, right? We want to enhance it, not take away from it. So when we think about things like the daytime, right? It's a beautiful view. How do you give someone something to do that's on top of the experience, but not necessarily taking away from what the experience is? We also focus on weather. There's 3 observation decks in the room. We know weather is the driver of our business in a lot of ways. So how do you make the experience appealing on a day when it's raining or when it's cloudy and you might not have the best visibility? So a great example of this is this past winter in January and February, we launched Sky Chalet, which was a curling activation. We installed curling lanes on the deck, and you can actually play. And for our friends in the shops who were here on bad weather days, we invited them up to play curling for free with the purchase of an Edge ticket, just to get people on the deck, even though maybe the view wasn't what it usually is.
So let's talk about how New York is like a crowded market. How do you reach these audiences? Like you have international people, domestic travelers, as well as locals. So how are you reaching them in a crowded market?
Yeah, great question. Again, 3 direct competitors in the room, even when it's a semi-empty room today. So yeah, of course, I mean, New York in and of itself is a crowded market, even taking the objects out of it. You're buying for people's attention, you're buying for people's time, and there's so much to do. So I think in our messaging, first and foremost, we really want to differentiate ourselves. Our experience is at the crux of our content, and everything that we do, we want to show people enjoying the experience. I think going back to the rebrand question, we really wanted to make sure in our new identity that we weren't just showing pictures of the deck, of the building. We want to show people doing things and having a good time on the deck and really enjoying themselves. And I think we do that through our ad campaigns, but also through partnerships with content creators, influencers, Influencer isn't necessarily a breakthrough tactic. We're all doing it, but I think the way that we work with our partners is unique. We partner to also show the benefits of the entire neighborhood of Hudson Yards. This is, again, a neighborhood that didn't exist 5-10 years ago. So using that as a messaging tactic to really say, like, yes, you can come to Edge, but there's so much more to do here. We have great shops, we have great restaurants. Come to Vessel, you can do so much. So we really try to, break through the messaging and positioning it as a thing to see in the neighborhood.
Yeah, so Interpret Travel was talking about how to amplify that social aspect of it. How do you convince like the people that are at the attraction to post? What makes an experience shareable? How are you driving like the UGC aspect of it? I don't know if you're using like hashtags or something. I've actually seen a lot of local, because I'm from New York, so I've seen a lot of local influencers talk about curling and the various experiences you guys have. So curious about that strategy.
Yeah, we have a great comms team who works closely with influencers and an influencer network, and we're always inviting people up to enjoy the experience. For our guests, I think, not to like, the view explains itself. It's great. People want to take pictures of the skyline, so we're always, encouraging people to take pictures. We're reposting on our own social channels. We're trying to build a community. I think, especially amongst locals, like you said, we want to invite them and entice them to come back, and I think our people's best network is people they know. So, we do have a hashtag strategy, but we're really in the market of reposting and engaging in the comments and people who are posting us. Yeah.
Great. So let's move on to like the targeting aspect of it. How do you know who to send over to the Vessel or the Edge? Also curious about like the influencers that you work with. How do you know which attraction to send them to?
Yeah, I think, again, it kind of depends what we have going on at the time. So for families, if we're doing some family programming at Edge, we'll invite them. For Vessel, we just announced another partnership with Equinox. We're launching a fitness program called Vessel Runs. So we have like a network of fitness influencers who we invited there. So I think something that's great about both Vessel and Edge is they appeal to a really broad audience, so we don't want to necessarily pigeonhole ourselves, but I think, again, in demonstrating the experience and what there is to do there, we align our programming and our content strategy really closely.
Okay, great. So we already spoke about your target audience a few times, but I didn't get to ask you, like, what data sources are you using to redefine that audience?
Yeah, great question. Our first-party data is the most important, right? We're looking at where people are coming from, what else they're doing when they're in the neighborhood. We also work really closely with a lot of the New York City tourism partners to understand how the landscape is shifting. I think all of us know that things are changing, and so we're working closely with partners who have access to data that we might not have on hand to understand where people are coming from, how that's shifting over time, and how we can best reach them.
And I already said what your target is, but if you have like a more defined version of who your target audience is, I already mentioned 3 of them, but if you wanna do it too, yeah. you can probably explain it in better words than I just did.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think you spoke to kind of the local and tourist strategy, which is
Yeah.
obviously a huge part of our audience. But we also do quite a bit in the city. Again, Hudson Yards is new, and we really try to become part of the fabric of the city. So we do a lot for the community. For Vessel, New York residents get free access to the attraction. For Edge, on Tuesdays, we do free New York City public school trips. So we really want to make sure that we're giving back to the community and being part of the city in that way. We also spend a lot of time working with other folks on the west side, right? So we have the Javits Center is close to us, so we work with them to do some cross-promotion, to try to get people incentivized to come over to Hudson Yards. Madison Square Garden is just a few blocks away, so we do some cross-promo with them as well. So I think in addition to the typical tourist and local segments that we're trying to reach, we're also trying to take advantage of what's happening in the neighborhood. How can we capitalize on the massive foot traffic that we see on the west side of Manhattan and get people to come to our attractions.
Great. Let's shift a little bit and talk about budget. So I know a lot of people, their budget's getting cut or whatever. And what is like a low budget tactic that you've used that you've had big impact on?
Yeah, so we have done quite a bit of, our comms team is spectacular. So we do a lot of big value filmings and tapings and PR moments. So we've had movie openings at Edge. We've had, Lion King did a Good Morning America performance at Edge. So we really focus a lot on working with high visibility media partners to be front row center. Again, it's a stunning view and it's kind of a once in a lifetime place. So we really want to promote, or not promote, but provide, great partnerships with some of these folks.
Yeah, I have a memory on the first time I went to Edge was on my birthday, so I went to Peak Restaurant, and then I went to the Edge, and my birthday's in January. But it was a lot of fun anyway, even though it was freezing, and I was like stepping on the glass. I was like, is this, I don't know, I guess I'm a thrill seeker. I'm crazy, but there's like glass on the floor at the Edge, and you could actually look down. How many floors is it again?
100 floors.
Yeah, so I guess I'm a thrill seeker for being like, is this thing stable?
Yeah, no, I feel like adults are almost more afraid of it than like kids are. Kids are fearless. They'll run right up to the floor. If you are a thrill seeker, we also have City Climb at Edge, which is you clip into a harness and climb to the top of the skyscraper. If anyone's feeling brave, it's an amazing thing to do and the best view of the city.
For City Climb, are you like targeting those thrill seekers now that I think about it?
Yes,
okay.
yeah. We are, yeah. It's an interesting segment, right, because it feels so different than like a typical tourist attraction. So we're really focused on reaching a different audience there.
Okay, great. And I know we spoke about travel trends. You guys spoke about it in a roundtable, but if you want to talk about how you keep up with the latest travel trends, everyone's posting on TikTok nowadays, and TikTok is now the new search. So if you want to speak about how you're keeping up with the travel trends.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Jimmy mentioned, I think in our roundtable, how there's like a lot of content posted about these hacks, how people are trying to find like the best ways to get through the city. We do quite a bit of social content about like wayfinding in the city, so how to get to Edge from X, Y, or Z. We work with our partners to kind of understand what's happening, and we try to really be quick in terms of what we're posting on our pages. I think something we're doing in social is posting quite a variety of content. I think it's kind of hard to understand what's going to hit, what's going to make the algorithm optimize towards your content. So we really focus on variety and diversity within what we're posting, and using social trends is a huge part of that.
So what channels are you using other than social to reach these people?
So within media?
Yeah, within media.
Yeah. So we have full funnel media campaigns. We run quite a bit of out of home in New York. We're trying to get people who are on the ground. Our booking window is relatively close in because we are so weather dependent. So we do a lot of on the ground marketing in New York City. We also spend a decent amount of time and effort trying to reach people pre-arrival, whether that's through B2C marketing channels or through our B2B partners. So while people are still in the planning phase of their trip, trying to get them excited about coming to Edge.
Okay. Not sure if you do. I've noticed some marketers will put advertising in the destination, not the destination, the traveler's hometown to get that traveler thinking about it. So I don't know if you guys do any of that, or maybe on the airport. I think it's a good strategy. I don't know. I think I've seen. In Times Square, it happens all the time. They're always like, come to whatever country. So I don't know if you guys do any of that kind of work.
Yeah, we do quite a bit in digital. We focus a lot on people who we've identified as travelers, people who have intent of coming to New York, and reaching them with messaging. To your point on airports, we do around peak season, try to be present. We did some testing last year with some rideshare apps to be front row center during passenger pickup for people who are coming into the city. So yeah, it's a huge opportunity, and I think those are eyeballs a lot of people are vying for, especially in New York. So we really try to be strategic about ways to break through and get in there.
Okay, so last question I'm going to ask her, and get ready for your questions. So what are you looking forward to in the next year? I know that a lot of marketers are talking about AI and et cetera, so let us know what you're looking forward to.
Yeah, I think this is the past few months at Hudson Yards has been a time of enormous transformation. We just mentioned rebrand, bringing in a new F&B partner, et cetera. So I think we have more to come in the next year. We're really focused on enhancing the experience and making it a great place to come for tourists and locals alike. So we're continuing to do that. In terms of what's to come in terms of like marketing and media, I am excited. I fancy myself like a kind of a data nerd about what's happening with AI and the way that it's changing the way that we run our marketing campaigns. Mm-hmm. You know, we work very closely with our partners like Google, Meta, et cetera, to run campaigns using this technology. So excited to see how it continues to evolve. And I think, yeah, just balancing that like risk of trying it and the responsibility of seeing if it doesn't work.
Sounds good. All right, so open to questions, if anyone has any. Doug, right here.
Hey, great
We're
talk.
recording this, that's fine.
Thanks. Which of your channels are most efficient, most effective at driving visitation?
Yeah, in terms of our marketing mix, we see quite a bit from paid search, I think. It tends to be the best performer. I think it's also deeply competitive. Obviously, when we're talking about the attractions landscape, it's busy. But then we also have, you know, our third-party partners like Viator, Get Your Guide are also in that space. So as effective as it's been, we've had to get creative in how we like make sure we're maximizing our visibility on the search engine results page, how we're, you know, ranking well organically as well as via paid, so that, you know, we're front row center in the places that matter.
I'm not going to make another joke about Brienne driving a truck around New York City, but I am curious, have you found any success or done any testing into localized experiential activations like that can help, you know, drive some of that local traffic in?
I would say our experiential has like primarily been focused on things that we do on the deck. We haven't done a whole bunch of you know, guerrilla marketing-esque type things. But we do find that when we differentiate what we're doing like on the plaza or on the deck, that does well and brings locals and tourists alike.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Kristin.
Thank you.